Hey everybody, how the heck are you doing? As you can tell, I'm here at work. Sorry about not having no videos in a while, but this is why I'm doing this one, to tell you what's going on. Oh, jeez. Okay. So, approximately not even a month ago, we had to put our dog down. That was a surprise. Okay, unexpected. 2 weeks ago, Wednesday, was my father-in-law's, we'll just call it death day. He died on that day, 1996, I think, or 94, one of the two. And then a week later, not a full week, 6 days later, so a week ago Tuesday, my mother-in-law passed unexpectedly. So that's a lot on my wife. So she's been pretty distraught about it, as you can imagine. She's the only child to that woman. So I've been busy with her, right? Busy with the house. We've been staying. You've seen video of the house. That's my mother-in-law's house. And no, she didn't leave a will. She owes somewhere around $45,000 on the house. That would pay it off. So the wife's going to have to go to probate court in order to get the house. But according to a couple people we've talked to, we're waiting on a lawyer, an estate lawyer, right? Waiting to hear back from him first before I go believing anybody else, right? Let's set you down here. And I'll tell you a little bit about the truck. Lieutenant Watermelon. Come on, stupid. I'm just trying to lift you up. There you go. There we go. You know what? Let's turn it around. What's the sense of looking at Todd's truck? Might as well look at Sheepdog's truck, right? Why not? All right. Okay, so all right, there we go. So yeah, I had to deal with that. The wife had to go pick up her mom's ashes, the death certificates, and whatever else yesterday. Thankfully, though, today she's watching our grandson, and he's a joy. He's a bundle of joy. So she's doing good today. The dog was Sarge. That's what we named him, Sarge, right? And so I'm trying to do this the most respectful way I can. He's been with us since he was about 8 months old, right? And he was probably 11 or 12, somewhere around there, when we finally put him down. Or when we put him down, I shouldn't say finally. And here's my side of it. So it started out this way. Came home. Probably for the 2 weeks prior to that, I've been bugging my wife about getting him to the vet to get that thing off his shoulder removed, okay? I think I showed that in a video. He had a growth on his shoulder for probably the last 3 years. Well, he was my wife's dog, right? Because we got him when my wife got out of the truck from over the road. She didn't want to be over the road no more. Well, I still had to work, so I was going to be away from the house. All the kids were gone, so she was just going to be at home alone. So we got him for some company and protection, right? And he was full-blooded American Pit Bull Terrier, full-blooded. No paperwork, but he was definitely full-blooded. Okay, so probably 2 weeks prior to us having to put him down, I had been working on my wife to get that growth removed, right? I've been working on it longer than that, but I really was getting to the point where I was just going to take him my damn self and take off work and go do it. But like I said, it was her dog, so I didn't think it would take this long. I really didn't. And so the day finally came. She made an appointment. I was at home. I was going to go with her for support, right? And when I was outside at the house, by the way, I was outside, and here comes my wife and my granddaughter with Sarge in tow, right? With a, got a chain on, collar and all that. Well, Sarge is not looking good. And that's the first time I'd seen him look like that. At first, I just kind of wrote it off as he knows something's going on. He's just that type of dog. He's got that nervous feeling. Doesn't know where he's going, but he knows something's going on, right? That's what I took it as. Then my wife told me that he ain't been feeling good for about a week, maybe 4 or 5 days, something like that. I can't remember exactly what she said, but something like that. And I'm like, okay. So we get to the vet. They check him out. And they're like, he's got something serious going on. Now, can't remember what they were. Oh, well, they didn't know for a fact what it was. But they said they would have to do invasive surgery in order to find out. And they suggested we put him down. Well, we weren't for that at that point. We're not, no, okay, doc, thanks. So we took him home, and my wife's a herbologist, right? Not certified, folks. She's not certified, but she might as well be. There's a lot of things. My wife's a great cook, but she's not a certified chef. But as far as I'm concerned, she is a chef. But she's not certified. And she's an herbologist, but she's not certified. So I want to make that clear when I say she's an herbologist. Everybody knows what an herbologist is. She's an herb specialist. How's that? All right, so she came up with some things that we could feed him and help him. We didn't know exactly what was going on, but it was something inside, so this would help his insides, whatever it was. So we're sitting outside, and those of you that have seen the house, you've seen my wife's new to us camper. We've had it for months, but it's her camper. So we were sitting outside the camper under the canopy, nice warm day, and Sarge's fence was to my left, to her right. The house was behind her, in front of me, okay? So out comes Sarge. All right, what's he up to? So he walks over he's sniffing around like a regular dog, So I didn't never think he was that bad. I just figured he needed something. Probably ain't been taken care of, been eating something, probably ate something or something got to him. Maybe he got a flu bug or something, whatever. So he walks over to the fence, lifts his leg to pee. And that's when I knew it. He was peeing blood. So immediately inside of me, I got very angry because somebody, and like I said, I'm trying to do this respectful to my wife, okay, but I gotta take full responsibility. I'm the man in the house, right? I'm the man. I should have took that dog to the vet a long time ago. I should have. I just didn't think it was that serious that he needed, that I had to make a big deal about it. But I kept bringing it up every now and then, and finally she was ready to do it, and she goes and does it, and then we find this out. So then he pisses blood, and next thing you know, we're going to the vet to get him put down, because there's nothing. Once they piss blood, even once a human starts pissing blood, and depending on your age, it's pretty much over at that point. So that's a third-party driver. I know him. I don't know him personally per se, but I've talked to him a couple times. He's a good guy. I like him. One of the few drivers that come here from that company that I actually don't have a problem with. Anyway, so we knew we were gonna have to put him down, and yeah, I got angry, but I didn't voice it to my wife. I just, you know what, I got to take some responsibility, and so moving forward, we had him put down. I had to go to work, so once he was put down, I asked, "You got this from here?" I got to go, because this was it had to have been a weekday, right? I think I took the day off. Yeah, that's what it was. So I had to go to work for the next day. And I was in my pickup with my camper. I think my camper was still in the back at that time. Wow, was it that long ago? No, I was pulling it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Man, was it that long ago since I made a video? Jeez. I apologize, folks. It's been a busy life. Whew. So I took off from work. She she handled it. They brought him out in a, we'll call it a body bag, because I don't know what else you call it. They loaded it in her car. She came home. Her and the neighbor unloaded him and put him in a burial spot out back in the backyard. So we're both, I'm at work and I'm thinking about this, stewing on it, right? Just stewing on it. And I finally came to the conclusion that there's nobody to blame but me, because I'm the man. I'm the man of the house. I'm the man. I'm the guy that gets things done. And I let him suffer because I put the responsibility on her because it's her dog. Well, that's no reason to let a life, right? A life suffer. Even if it is a dog. And dogs don't tell you when they're suffering. They just look down. That's all. They just look like they're not feeling up just to par. They're not up to par. Okay. But we never know how bad it is. But that day I saw him come out of the house when we were getting ready to go to the vet for the first time. He looked, like I said, I thought he was just nervous, but he wasn't the normal nervous. So now I know, right? He had something going on and it was killing him. So rather than he suffer any longer, and at that point, I don't know if anything we would have done for him would have fixed it, because why is he pissing blood? Well, that means blood's getting into his bladder somehow, and that's surgery. Bottom line, they got to go in, they got to cut him open, and they got to find that hole or whatever, patch that hole, and then fix whatever the problem is in the first place, and that's loading him up with all kinds of man-made prescription crap. I don't like it in my life, as y'all know, and so we just put him down. It was quiet, it was smooth. He just went to sleep. That's all he knows. And so that was sad. It really sad, but I had to take responsibility of that. And I got home that next weekend. I told my wife, I said, I want to make something really clear right now. Between me and her, we've had, Sarge, Puppy, and I'll talk about Puppy here in a little second, and then Bear. We had a dog named Bear. I think Bear was our first dog as a couple together. We had to put Bear down. He was 15 years old, had that hip dysplasia or whatever. Puppy, we called him Puppy because we didn't plan on him staying around long. He just showed up one day, and while we were in Tennessee, and he ended up staying. But you can't change his name because he's been called Puppy for a year now. So we just let him stay. And one tough dog, that guy was. He was part collie and something else, mutt really, but he was a good-looking mutt. And that dog's been hit by 3 cars, been in coyote fights. My wife has bandaged him up many a time, but he lived through it all. Well, then when she decided to go on the road, we had to let somebody watch him, right? Well, the people we allowed to watch him, and I ain't going to name who they were or who they are, because it's just throwing them under the bus, and I don't like to do that to nobody. They didn't take care of him, and then we let somebody else watch him, and they definitely didn't take care of him. And he probably died of sadness and overweight, because he was huge. He was allowed to eat whenever he felt like eating, because they just got him a big old, them big self-feeders. I don't believe in those. Dogs only need to eat once a day. Once a day. Now there's probably some dogs that you need to split it up because they're high strung, like maybe a Dobe or what's them dogs that chase rabbit? They're really greyhounds, something like that, or a really high-strung dog might have to be fed 2 or 3. I don't know. I've never had one of those dogs, but the majority of the dogs I've ever owned, you just got to feed them 1 time a day. They're good on that. But he was being allowed to eat, and he got big, boy, big. And I think that's what killed him. We were on the road when he died. So when I got home that weekend, moving forward now after Sarge here, when I got home that weekend, I told my wife, I will take full 100% responsibility for Bear, Puppy, and Sarge. And I give you my word, I'm talking to my wife, I'll give you my word, I will never, ever, ever let this happen again. And I was letting her know that no matter what she does, I'm not going to just sit by and let her be whatever the reason is that she's not doing it, right? I'm going to take it upon myself and take care of it. And that's the end of it, because I'm just as responsible for anything in our family as she is, right? So I feel pretty bad about that, but I've come to terms with it, and I've accepted the fact that I'm responsible because I'm the man of the house, and so I must take responsibility for the deaths of those 3 dogs. And I never thought of it that way, but it weighed on me after Sarge got put down, and that's what we had to do. All right, so you're all updated there. The mother-in-law, she, we don't know what was going on. Here's what I think. Okay, so her leg, left leg, and back started giving her problems, and it got to the point where she pretty much was chair ridden. Okay, this is a 79-year-old woman that 2 summers before so 2 years ago, 2 summers ago, right? Not this past summer, not the last summer, but the summer before that. So 21, right? 21. That summer, she was outside every day piddling around, doing whatever. Lifting stones, she put in a whole walkway with them blocks. You know, she did it all herself. She's always done that since I've known her. And then she got sick that 21 winter. She got sick real bad, got bronchitis, I think, or pneumonia maybe, something like that. Anyway, she got real bad. And ever since then, she's kind of been going downhill. So the following summer, 22, she hardly went outside at all. And then this past summer, 23, she started to go outside a lot more, really. But she always said she was winded, so winded. And I told her, well, you've been sitting around for 2 years, you know, you kind of got to build up to it again. And you are 79, so, you know, you don't use it, you lose it. I mean, that's all there is to it. But now that I look back at it and knowing what I know now, I think she probably had a problem that we didn't know about. And she didn't know about. Now, take it from me. This woman, her sisters and her brothers, they have one of the best bloodlines I know of, bar none. All her brothers and sisters, minus one sister and one brother. One brother died from cancer just last summer, and the one sister who's been a basket case for 2 decades, she passed away in 22. But all her other sisters and brothers are alive, and they're all from 70 on up to 90. She's got a sister, Donna, who lives down in Florida, who's 89, 90, and that woman runs her own house, paints, fixes things, still drives, everything. Everything a human can do today, she still does it. Dresses herself and everything, right? So, I mean, that tells you their bloodline. And there's another sister named Jo. She, bless her heart, you know, hardworking woman. And there you go. So for my mother-in-law to pass unexpectedly was very, very unexpected. Okay, so the leg, the back, here's what I thought, okay? And this is logical. Do we know if that was the case? No, because doctors don't ask you how long you've been sitting on your ass. They don't ask you that. They just ask you, what are you here for? And then they try to solve that problem medically instead of logically, right? So logically, she's been sitting in a damn chair, the same chair that's it's a recliner, okay? And recliners are not made to support a human body the way a human body is supposed to be supported, okay? So she's been sitting in that chair for 2 years, basically. And I think her back's just got out of whack so bad that something pinched her sciatica nerve. Am I saying that right? And that's what was happening. And she just kept sitting in that chair. So I'm the only one that was thinking that. My wife half-heartedly agreed. She does a lot of research, and she stepped up and took care of her mom 100%. And then her mom went to the doctor. She went to the chiropractor. It helped a little, but not in the long run. And then she went to the doctor. The doctor said he wanted to point to the back. He wanted to do surgery on the back. And then he said, well, you need to do therapy for a while first. She didn't want to do the damn therapy. The therapist came to the house, right? That was the last thing that was going on. The therapist was coming to the house every couple days. And the therapist was giving her instructions on what to do, and she didn't do it. during this whole process, since her leg started hurting, she kept falling. Her leg, according to her, because I never actually witnessed her fall. My wife would always tell me that she fell, and I believe my wife, so I know she did. Got her a walker. We got a... What else we get? Oh, we got a shower chair. We got... I think we got her a couple walkers. That's what I'm thinking of, because there was 3 things. But yeah, we got her a couple walkers because one was too short, didn't work. Handles were junk. Got them used. You know, they're in great shape. Anyway, the last time she fell in the bathroom, and it's not a tiny bathroom, but it's a small bathroom. It's made for what you go in there for. That's all it's made for. It's not meant to hang out. You know, that's how I am. Simplistic, all right? But that's how my father-in-law was too. Simplistic. Keep it simple. Less heat, less cooling, you know, all that. Less work, blah, blah, blah. So it's a small bathroom, and it's basically a hallway. You got your sink, you walk through the door, you got your shower directly on your left, then you got the sink. Over here, you know, up a little bit on the right, you got the toilet, and then on the back wall there's a window, and to the left of that window there's the hot water heater. Excuse me, there's the water heater. Trying to think. The sink, it was just one sink, it wasn't a double sink. So she was in the bathroom, using the bathroom, I believe, and when she got up she fell, but she was already turned around, and I didn't find out until after the fact that she hit her head on the sink. Now, if any of you are UFC fighter fans or fighter fans at all, you know, the Fight Club, you know from that the back of the head, right where the skull cap meets your cranial, well, your vertebrae go down that way, right? And there's nerves back there. In the UFC, they're not allowed to punch back there. There's a reason. I know a couple fighters in the UFC got punched back there in the early days and had seizures, and one actually died. So it's really a bad place to get hit. My mother-in-law hit her head right on the counter, the sink counter. It's rounded, but she hit it right there. I didn't know till after the fact. So I am 100% confident that that's what killed her, because she went downhill fast after that. She called my wife when she fell. My wife came in there, and I think my wife stood her up. No, I don't think she stood her up. I think she sat her up. And then my mother-in-law said at that time that she felt dizzy and felt like she was going to pass out, and then she passed out. 911 was called. They come and got her, took her to the hospital. She made it to the hospital. They got her on the bed. You know, they're working on her. My mother-in-law had no there's a word. I'm sorry. I apologize. There's a word. Resuscitation, where they can't bring you back, basically. Okay, so they can't put the electrodes to you and all that crap, do all that work. She put it in her medical records or whatever that don't bother. Well, they called my wife and they said, do you want us to do CPR if we need to? Can we at least do that? And my wife's like, yeah, just do regular CPR. If that don't bring her back, then let's just provide her with her wishes and let her go. And so they called back, I think 5-10 minutes later, and said she didn't make it. Her heart rate was so low, and we couldn't get it to speed up or none, and she finally just passed. And okay. So yeah, very shocking, very surprised. So a lot's been on my mind with that and with the future, okay? And yeah, so there you go. And it's cold outside, it's winter time. Today's a beautiful day, got up to 50 here in Michigan. We've been having cold fucking weather, excuse my language. And you know, I sleep in that camper, and that's not an easy camper to keep warm, and the furnace in that camper does not work right now. I fixed my wife's furnace so she could be happy, even though she sleeps in the house now, but she still has things in her. We haven't did anything yet. We don't know what we're doing yet. So we're kind of just like living for now to see what happens with the house and the lawyer and all the estate attorney and all that. So that's where we're at with that. So there's your update with that. That took 25 minutes. I'll probably edit some. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think I have anything to edit. But let's change topics. Now, so Sarge over here, sorry about that. So Lieutenant Watermelon over here, I finally replaced my transmission because 3 weeks ago hold on. Yeah, 3 weeks ago it went out. The transmission that was in there, I've told you on video before, it was a Meritor 10-speed, Meritor BlackRock, I think they were originally called. And it finally just kept giving me so many problems, I didn't dare drive it anymore. So I was pulling a trailer, headed east, got about 20 minutes away, and I said, that's it, I'm done. Turned around, came back, called work, told them I'm out. Transmission's done. I'm going to get it changed out. I'd already made plans to how I was going to change the transmission. I've told you before that there's a place uptown, Neil's Truck Parts, that would give me a rebuilt transmission, 10-speed, standard, Eaton Fuller. And it would cost around $8,000 by the time they were all done. I'm like, man, I got to be able to, I can't, I don't want to spend $8,000, so let me try to save some money. So I got my regular mechanic, Tim. I called him up and I talked to him about it. I'm like, man, is there any way that I can bring this to you and you can change this transmission? Is there any way we can do it any cheaper than, $8,000? And he told me to call Frontier for a transmission. So I called Frontier, the name of the company, that they sell used transmissions under 500,000 miles, and checked out by another company, verify that they're good to go and everything, and then they sell them. I paid $2,700 for the transmission. I didn't think that was a bad deal. I got a 90-day warranty. If it's going to fuck up, it's going to do that in 90 days, right? With Neil's, I would have got a rebuilt transmission and a 3-year warranty. Just keep that in mind. Okay, so we decided to go that way, so I dropped it off at my mechanic's and I went home. Tim called me later that day, the next day. Yep, the next day. He said, we got a problem. I said, what's that? And he goes, Frontier dropped off your transmission, but it's not a manual, it's an automatic. I'm like, automatic? Why would they do that? Oh my goodness. Well, Frontier came down, picked it up, dropped off a 10-speed Eaton Fuller. Before I tell you what that is, I take responsibility for the phone call I made to find the transmission. I did not tell the guy that I wanted a Eaton Fuller 10-speed manual, standard, which is in most trucks, right? I didn't say that. I just told him I wanted an Eaton Fuller 10-speed. But he didn't ask me if I wanted an automatic or a standard or whatever. He never asked me that, okay? He asked me, do you want number, right? Nomenclatures. Well, I don't know nomenclatures. I don't know what that means. Wait, I'm a truck driver. I'm not a full-fledged mechanic. I don't know what the numbers are. I just know it's a 10-speed Eaton Fuller manual. So he sends down that automatic. Well, he went down there, picked it up for us, and dropped off an Eaton Fuller 10-speed. Well, guess what this one was? And it's in the truck right now. Because my mechanic didn't know what it was until after he put it in. Told me it was ready. I pick it up. I drive it for the first time in 2 weeks. And what the hell is going on, right? This thing's not shifting like a 10-speed Eaton Fuller should shift. Something ain't right. It felt like when I was in, say, second gear, I was in high. When I was in third, I was in low. When I was in fourth, I was high. And fifth, I was low. It was just weird. And it didn't feel like the flip-up lever for high and low, didn't do anything. So I called up my mechanic, Tim, and I said, hey, Tim, we got a problem. He's like, what? And I go, something ain't right. This transmission is not shifting correctly. There's just something ain't right. He said, okay, I'm going to look into it. So he called me back about 10 minutes later, and he said, you know what you got in that truck? I said, what? He goes, you got a Super 10. Okay. Well, Well, I'm not really sure what that is, but I'm sure you're going to explain it to me. And he sent me a picture of exactly what a Super 10 entails. If I'd have been more prepared, I'd have shared that picture with you, but, well, actually, I don't know why I'm saying that. I still got to edit this video, so you'll see a picture of it shortly. So if some of you might know what a Super 10 is, I don't know. My friend Joe, that drives a Black International over there next to that Western Star, he has a truck, a Freightliner Classic, that has a 10-speed Super 10 in it, and he said he loves it. Wished he had it in his truck now. He said, you're going to love it. Well, then I heard from another guy that has a lot of experience with stuff like that, and he said, you're going to hate it. And it's like, what the Okay, well, there are people that are going to hate it, and there are going to be people that love it. Let me explain how you shift it. Okay. On a 10-speed standard, Eaton Fuller, well, Meritor's the same way, but all the way over to the left and down is 1, right? Okay. Up is reverse. And reverse has a high and a low, which is weird, but it does. On any transmission that I know of, well, in a truck. Anyway, so down is first, and then second, third, fourth, fifth, and then up with the lever back over to sixth, right? You know the rest. Then up to 7, then an 8, then a 9, then a 10, right? On this transmission, this is first, all the way to the left and down. You got a thumb switch, no flip-up lever. There's no middle flip-up lever. There's just a thumb switch, like on a 13-speed or an 18-speed. So you're in first, you're speeding up, you flip the switch forward, now it goes to 2. You build up speed, you flip the lever back, you shift it into what would normally be 2, which is now 3 and 4. So you put it in 3, build up speed, flip the switch forward, now you're in 4. Flip the switch back, go to 5, flip the switch forward, you're in 6th. You get it? I hope so. I'll show the picture. The picture pretty much explains it. Okay, 3 things that I can find that are positive. 1, I guarantee you I gained 0.2 of a mile in fuel mileage. Or 0.2 of a gallon, or, yeah. And number 2, I've hauled heavy loads with this truck prior to this transmission and with this transmission. And this transmission, now, the loads we pull that we consider heavy are 33 to 38,000 pounds. Just depends on how much they load, how they load, you know, what they load and all that. But them are called rack loads because it's the racks to the trucks that we bring back here that get shipped back to Japan or wherever. I pulled one yesterday and it felt like a regular trailer. It didn't feel like I was pulling a heavy load. Now with that Meritor 10-speed I had, I dreaded pulling them rack loads, okay? But with this one, it's easy peasy. So that's 2, right? Fuel mileage, and it pulls heavy loads, no problem. 3, shoulder, right? Less doing all this, right? I'm just doing it flip, 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 flip. That's it. I'm done. 68 mile an hour, 1600 RPM, whatever. Okay, so I can't. I was going to get rid of it. I even went to Frontier where I got the transmission yesterday, and I told them, hey, we got to do something here, because first you sent me an automatic, then now you sent me this. I didn't want neither one of those. This is what I wanted. Why can't I get what I want? Why do I have to go through this, right? And the guy that actually I talked to the whole process of buying the transmission and getting the transmission and all that, he goes by Doc. And he showed me the computer that what he looks at when he's looking for a 10-speed Eaton Fuller transmission. It doesn't tell you on the software that they look at or on the paper that gets printed out that it's a Super 10. It doesn't tell you that. Nowhere on there. So only a professional transmission guy or a mechanic that's done a lot of transmissions would have known by looking at that what it was. Tim said that it looked different, but, you know, whatever. some things looked different. He didn't know why, but he just put it in because he knew what I wanted. And then once I got in it and drove it, we found out it was a Super 10. So here's my dilemma. My goal is to buy 2 more trucks just like that one. Maybe not green and red, but just like that one. And put 3 drivers in that truck and the next 2 trucks that I'm going to buy. Your opinion. I've already talked to a couple people, and I have my opinion. It would take I don't want to say special, but a particular driver that would actually drive that truck with that Super 10 in it. Do you agree or not agree? With that, I'm going to end this video. And actually, I think the last video I told you I hit a deer on the driver's side and had to change out the headlight. Yeah, I know I did. And the bumper support, right? Well, oh, come on. I want to get that camera. I hit this side this time. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, man, I hate this. You can't do nothing because it's all wanting to sit on you. Yeah, it's cracked. I don't know if you can see it, but it's cracked. So I got to replace that headlight and the bumper support. And I don't know if you can see it. There we go. There's a, you probably see it from over here. Yep, you see the bent, the divot in it? I got to try to get that out. And I lost one of my hubcaps, actually the one on the other side. And I tried getting 2 new ones, one new one, and the place I went to didn't have any. And then I went to the Frontier where I got the transmission, and they actually they come in a kit. And I paid $40 for both sides. And I was going to put them on this afternoon, but as you can tell, it's really dirty. I need to get my truck washed. I was going to get it washed yesterday, and no go. Too many trucks in line. I had a lot of things to do, so I just went and did them. Had to get another tire late last week. Or no, earlier this week. This tire right here caught a nail, or bolt actually, and luckily for me, the guy I get my tires from, he had another one just like that, so I got the same tire. I'm trying to think if I forgot anything. Oh, and my yellow cord, you can see that going across. That's my, from my block heater. Had to fix that because that got burned up somehow. I don't know freaking how. Trying to think of what else I got going on here. Nothing. So with that, I'm gonna let this go. It's already over 30 minutes. I hate long videos. I don't like to watch people's long ass videos, so I'm sure you don't like to watch mine. So with that said, I'm Sheepdog, and this is Sheepdog Logic.